We begin tonight with the Senate hearing on the wiretapping of a Philippine military official by the Chinese embassy.
Speaking before senators, former AFP Wescom Chief Alberto Carlos admitted to speaking with a Chinese military official over the phone.
However, the Vice Admiral denied that a quote-unquote new model for the management of the Ayungin Shoal was agreed upon. Camille Samonte with that big story.
I did not forge any agreement at the level and magnitude that would bind our two countries for the long term and redefine foreign policy.
That's former Armed Forces Western Command Commander Vice Admiral Alberto Carlos speaking for the first time about the supposed new model agreement made with China on the West Philippine Sea. Speaking before the Senate Committees on National Defense and Security and Foreign Relations, Carlos admitted that he did speak via telephone with a certain Senior Colonel Lee, who is a Chinese military attaché. When asked further by the News 5 team later on, Carlos said the person he spoke to was Chinese Senior Colonel Lee Jianzhong. But in the hearing, Carlos denied that he entered into any agreement that endangers the country's national security.
The term common understanding, new model, were not part of our conversation, Mr. Chair.
Okay, what was the gist of your conversation and how many minutes was that conversation?
As far as I can remember, Mr. Chair, it lasted for 3 to 5 minutes.
According to Carlos, they did talk about ways to bring down the tensions in the West Philippine Sea.
Particularly during our rotation and resupply mission in the Ayungin Shoal. I've been coming from the December 2023 RORE, sir, where our supply ships were water cannon, and we were planning for the next RORE.
As for the details, Carlos asked for it to be tackled instead in an executive session. Carlos did share, though, that he was in the middle of an operation in the West Philippine Sea when Lee called him. Carlos said he did not know that the call was recorded.
So I have not given my consent to record to anybody, and I have not been asked for permission to do so, Mr. Chair.
Were you surprised when the military attaché called you?
Yes, sir. That is not normal in the conduct of our RORE mission. It's always a unilateral action or unilateral decision on our part to conduct the RORE. But for this particular RORE, he called me.
After the Chinese embassy released to media outlets the transcript of their conversation, Carlos said Lee apologized to him via text message. Carlos said he did not respond to this. For senators, China is using the issue to twist the narrative and manipulate the public.
Nakakabahala po itong wiretapping incident. Kayang-kaya tayong manipulahin itong mga Chinese officials. Kayang i-manipulate ang isang conversation o pag-uusap para tayo ay guluhin at paghinalaan pang isang bemedaled officer katulad ni Vice Admiral Carlos na tapat na naglilingkod sa ating bayan.
Senator Francis Tolentino also called out the Foreign Affairs Department for not immediately summoning Chinese Ambassador Wang Xilian after the release of the transcripts. But the DFA says charges must first be filed against a diplomat before they can take action. The agency explains diplomats have immunity under the Vienna Convention.
Pinakamataas na yung national security, exempt pa rin siya, may immunity pa rin siya. Sa Vienna Convention, exempt pa rin siya.
They could argue, sir, that he was just exercising his function as part of his mandate as a member of the mission.
So that would mean even taping a conversation is part of his mandate. Walang ginagawa po ang DFA. Ang DFA naghihintay na may mag-file ng kaso. Ang DFA may poder na mag-declare ng persona non grata. Hindi ko rin alam kung ano pa yung hinihintay natin dito.
To be able to file a case, the Justice Department says China first needs to waive immunity provided for the Chinese military attaché that Vice Admiral Carlos spoke with. But if this does not happen, the DOJ says he can instead be declared persona non grata. The agency says they will use Carlos' sworn statement for their investigation and as basis for filing of charges. Chinese embassy officials did not attend today's Senate hearing. For News 5, Camille Samonte, We Are One News.